You know I am. You know what it is. The one and only triple the G.O.D. live right here on Team G.O.Ref TV. Back with some more of that Savage era business as we take a look at the results and my predictions for WrestleMania L number 40 night 1. Because, given a particular match in particular, I really couldn't fit everything I wanted to say in a 67 9x16 box. So, you know what I'm saying? Had to improve the presentation just a little bit to get this on, but you will appreciate it when it's done because you know what I'm saying. Given how this goes, we can put in some work. But regardless of all of that housekeeping cleanup, we need to talk about day one of a pay-per-view. So. How about we go to work? Yep, Mami won. Mami beat the man because that's the way it is intended to be. I'm going to put it to y'all just like this. Rhea will be a dominant champion for a while. She will be. Because here is a truth that I'm going to bring up later because this is the Savage era and I can do this. The booking Rhea has had as champion, someone who wrestled on this PLE this evening could have used that type of booking when it mattered. Okay? So, I am going to take that thought and I am going to put that in my back pocket. Please remind me to bring it up later. And this is not one of those things where I put something in my back pocket and forget to bring it up. No, we're actually going to have a second and we're going to talk about this. It was a great match. You gotta appreciate Becky doing her thing. Like, I loved her entrance. Like, the man who's an average girl, you gotta love that angle. And you gotta love, this is my brutality. Please, mommy, hit me with a stink face. Step on me. Oh my God, I'm in love. So, you get both ends of the angle. So, it is what it is with that. So, great match. Let us move on. I told you. Right on the money. I told you. See, there's a thing about being a lifelong wrestling fan. There are just a lot of things that you can just call because they're kind of telegraphed given what's happening right now. What is happening right now in your WWE, given the things that I probably cannot say 3 minutes into a video about a dude who used to power walk to the ring and wear a do-rag, and we all love him because he may or may not have had an N-word pass. We celebrate Triple H and all of his works, blah, blah, blah. We do that. But given that this was an important moment, and you could really tell this, when both Pierce and that boy Nick Aldis, who I'm really appreciating that general manager role over there on SmackDown, of trying to really get back to truly diversifying the brands. And that includes NXT because you got to shout out the girl Ava over there on NXT, holding it down, making sure that in that role that she's playing, that stuff is just hitting on all cylinders. But very rarely, since NXT has become the NXT that people love, when does it not? But yeah, give everybody their props and do where it's due. But yeah, I saw the awesome truth part a mile away. Given how Senor Money in the Bank and the dude who used to be a demon, who used to be rated higher than his real life counterpart in a video game, mind you, was we're gonna hang both of the belts up and get them, please. I'm kind of like, well, okay, that's the way we can handle this. Because here's another thing that I literally just thought of, which I'm glad I'm not being able to have to stuff all this into a minute, is we used to have these kind of matches for the Intercontinental title. We've grown up a bit. So, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is with that. And we're going to have a little talk about the Intercontinental title. But yeah, again, it was an easy call. You knew Awesome Truth was gonna get the babyface win. You already knew that. And given like what SmackDown is trying to be, because you trying to split the titles up and you going to need a minute to reform and rebuild, the safest thing to do is really to put the titles on them boys, Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, A-Town Down Under, because if you want to, if you really, really, really want to, you could build a tag division around those two. Because I'm like, for all the hate Austin Theory got when he got the Vinnie Mac push, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate what he was doing, and Grayson Waller was clowning on NXT, and when they brought him up to the ring, he brought that clown mode with him, so he ain't got nothing but my respect. I'm like, good for all the teams, because everybody got new names, new Catch Republic, you know what I'm saying? That's really interesting as a thing, so shout out to the boy, the boy and the boy Pete Dunne. I'm glad they stopped calling him Butch. That's the thing. But yeah, it is going to be interesting to see, because we have a whole night of WrestleMania to go, because there was no moment where, spoilers, our Senor the Money in the Bank ran in that match that we're going to talk about later to try to pin a champion. So that's a thing, but more on that later. Hey, I remember when this was a match. I equally know what I predicted when that match, because that dude at the top left of your screen got hit in the leg like Nancy Kerrigan, turned into this match. See, I will admit something. You watch wrestling for so long, this is kind of like the opposite of the last match we talked about, of understanding, like, it looks so simple to be like Andrade with the swerve, right? Like, that seemed like the simple way to do it. But here's the real answer. The dude in the LWO with a finisher called the Backstabber. So we're going to see how long this story plays out before, you know, he actually bites an apple, spits in your face, tell you you're not cool, and then stab a whole bunch of Mexicans in the back. So it is what it is with that. You really got to appreciate also the long-running whole thing between Eddie's real son and Rey Mysterio as a running thread through forever. Santos Escobar being a big part of not only the future of World Wrestling Entertainment, but Lucha Libre, period. You have literally the dude in Andrade. You literally also had the future, who was that guy who got hit in the leg like Nancy Kerrigan and got replaced by this guy who they're saying is the damn heir apparent. So good for Lucha Libre all around, and shout out to SmackDown for the girl in Street Fighter and the dude who was the heir apparent to the Mexican thing getting back together and hugging it out. It was great. You know what? I am not gonna do that. I'm not. Shout out to that girl, Trinidad. Like, yeah, she in Street Fighter 6. I have no idea how she pulled that off, but I probably, if I was making Savage Era during the time, I probably would have commented on it. But shout out again to that girl, Zelina Vega. I was surprised she didn't wear cosplay to this match, but because the whole clique was out there. Everybody. The whole Mexico gang was out there jumping on each other and stuff. It was like WCW in like 1996. Before and after the NWO, but it is what it is with that. But again, more of that storytelling, because I'm going to say this because my brain rocking with me. You could literally tell the story of Go Home Heat Dom being mad at his real daddy while trying to imitate who we know was his real daddy, because we learned that in a ladder match 50 million years ago. So rest in peace always to Eddie Guerrero. I'm just like, I'm glad that everybody was able to get them a WrestleMania payday and jump off stuff. So, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to that boy Zema Ion. I thought I forgot what his name. They call him Joaquin Wild now. So it is what it is with that. So, yeah, good on you, Lucha Libre. Good on you. Yeet. No yeet. Yeet. No yeet. Yeet one. Let's just quickly get this out the way. When you understand this from I've been watching these dudes for a decade plus, lock down a whole division, welcome to the Uso Penitentiary, to get what it's really about. Because I bet you, even given the story they told in the ring, I bet you once they went behind Gorilla, though, hugged it out, cried it out, like, yo, we finally did it. If there is a match to watch, it's this one for no other purpose of the true payoff to some storytelling. Because again, when you really sit up here and think about how much of the Savage era I missed, I didn't get the chance to talk about a person we're literally going to talk about in a minute, and how these two were involved in one of the greatest stories that have previously been told in wrestling that we're still telling now, that is running majorly through this whole company. So I don't know what to say to that other than that, but I'm glad this finally happened for them. If nothing else at all, I'm glad it finally happened to them. So whether you Yeet Gang or no Yeet Gang, or you got Weezy playing you to the ring, Young Money Millionaires, whatever, I teared up at the end. That's how invested I have literally been invested, words on words, in everything the Bloodline's doing. When Sami hit Roman with that chair, I lost my mind. But that's what good wrestling storytelling will do for you. That's what it would do. So shout out to y'all doing a thing. Moving right along. So, how much money did the Storm Jade Cargill look in this match? I'll give it a Billy, not the Trilly I originally said. So we're going to leave that right there. Jade Cargill got a hell of a future. We will learn on Monday what trajectory that actually takes. But if you will allow me 2 seconds, because I have to pull that thing out of my back pocket now. If you take this picture you're currently looking at and look at the bottom right, remember we just talked about Mami? How I want her to step on me and to literally stick her ass in my face? I wish that person we're speaking about right now got booked like that a couple of years ago when she was at this event when she should have beat Charlotte Flair. This is just one of those mini wrestling sins Uncle Triple's never gonna forgive. Never. Ever, ever, ever gonna forgive. Never gonna forgive it. That was horrible booking. Whoever decided that needs to be slapped. And I will still slap you now because I'm still mad about it. Shout out to Naomi for, going out on your own, becoming the Knockouts champion, bringing Jordan Grace with you to the Royal Rumble, and then ending up at WrestleMania. You know what I'm saying? And I was really hoping that Bianca was going to join her husband and his best friend in the Pride, but I think this is better for her. What's next for the rest of Damage Control? We'll see how one Io Sky fares against a Bayley that we're really literally assuming is going to win the title, because she's the last horsewoman to not really get her shine at a WrestleMania. She even hosted one. That's just stupid because Bayley deserves better. But yeah, overall, $1 billion, not a trilly. I'm like, I expected a little more Jade. It's kind of what I'm saying. I expected a little more Jade in that match. I did. But for when she went out there, she clowned. She looked like $1 billion, not like a trilly. But we have got a whole lot of work to do. I know I'm gonna say this more than once when we get into talking about night 2 and we review night 2 and all of that stuff. Jade Cargill will be placed very high on the card for WrestleMania 41, and you can take that to the bank. Excuse me a moment. Excuse me. Hello. Live Uncle Triple here, live from the White Lab. We need to talk about that. See, this is the reason why I thought I needed more time to say what I got to say, because it was not that I predicted that Gunther was going to win, but can we quickly review Gunther, please? Last year, around this time, he was fighting Sheamus and Drew McIntyre in a technical 2-on-1 handicap match, and he stomped them both. You build Gunther to be a credible threat. You build Gunther to be a credible threat. For him to get beaten by a little kid, to show that he is nothing but technically walking Skynet by showing you are weak to Canadian white women as an Austrian man, whatever. Given, it's like, I'm going to give you this because I do not want to stay here forever, even though I literally put the camera on my face to literally talk about why this video gonna be however long it's gonna be. The second that they put the camera on Sami and his son right there, and he's speaking French to him, and I'm just sitting up here like, I have called this wrong. Because, again, this is not about a Triple H era, anything like that, do-rag Vince or nothing. You really put that visual in front of me, and I'm just kind of like, well, okay. It's like you trying to sit up here and give Sami like this real heartfelt win, but I'm like, brain is with me. I'm gonna get to my point because I literally thought about this because now it's making more sense as we talk about it. Is his son, his wife, Chad Gable, who I thought I was going to turn heel, Kevin Owens, who's literally fighting a dude on YouTube. Like, good luck, buddy. You can do it. And then Gunther reveals he's weak to white women, doing repeated splashes off the top rope. And then you get brain busted off the top rope and hit your skull. And then you lose the title, which in infinite hindsight is the best thing, because in my prediction, I equally said it was important to get ready to establish Gunther because he's bigger than the Intercontinental title. That is fair. It is what it is. So I was right in that front, and I'm leaning on whether or not to give myself the point, because the overall point is more important, because it's more important here that Gunther is no longer attached to the Intercontinental title so that he can go win world titles and hold them forever. You're not going to hold a title as long as the tribal chief. No, but I can see a Gunther being a very dominant champion. I can see it. You can literally build a division around this man. You can do it. And given all of this, that we literally got the Sami Mami heartfelt moment of we figure out the Austrian man is weak to white women, just as Skynet is weak to John Connor, to a little French kid's tears, to Chad Gable, who I was hoping was just going to come out there and smack Sami with a chair, and his best friend who is literally fighting a YouTuber like, you can do it, bruh. And it's just like, yeah. Even given that we're going to get to the end of this pay-per-view and the result that it is, yeah, there will be a story. It'll be finished, because it'll literally be weird that if you give Sami Zayn the heartfelt, we figure out the Austrian man is weak to white women, and doing splashes off the top rope, and a little kid's tears, and Chad Gable, who should have turned heel, and Kevin Owens, who's fighting a YouTuber, I don't know. But I do know, yes, stories will be finished. And given that this is the Triple H era, I think that a lot of my predictions for tomorrow are going to be spot on. But we're going to get back to match graphics now. It's enough of me. You've seen enough of me for now. So back to match graphics. Yeah, this was a thing. Sami Zayn is the new Intercontinental title. This is going to be weird, but Gunther will be champion in like what? Who knows? I give it, let's see. Math on how long it's going to take for them to put a belt on Gunther. I don't know. It ain't going to take that long, because given what I think might happen, and we'll talk about that we'll talk about that on the predictions for night 2. That this puts a dent in my prediction, that even though my predictions are the same, about wondering how our senior Money in the Bank falters into Gunther becoming a world champion at some point. Crazy wrestling stuff in my head. But anyway, let's move on, please. Yeah. You know what? I didn't think I was gonna get back on camera, but yeah, I will. Hey, I'm back. Okay, so the final boss in the Tribal Chief. American Freakin' Nightmare. Bloodline rules. It is good to know The Rock can still mostly go. It is good to equally understand this, and this is important, about how much of night 2 that this is affecting. We'll talk about a little bit more on the predictions for night 2, but it's looking like DM Hunt gonna be the champion, but for how long when you got Senior Money in the Bank? Because I really don't think they gonna do the equally wild thing of having to cash in on Cody, because that would be insane, and you'd be starting a new riot that you probably won't be able to put out, no matter how much The Rock swears he is your boss, which he is technically. Not a lot you can really do about that, even if you could, which you can't. So it is what it is. But match was fire. It's like it was everything that I expected. There was only one real problem, because I literally wrote this down in my notes. It took them 22 minutes before a lockup happened. That is over 1,320 seconds. Because yes, children, here's a math problem. 22 times 60 is 1,320. That is 1,320 real seconds. Not including adrenaline in my soul, burn it down, we sing, The Rock sitting up here and downloading himself, understanding and knowing that the Black Adam skin will never be available in Fortnite again, and, fire and stuff. They should have gave him another gun or let him get another flamethrower and, light ice on fire. I don't know. And Roman Reigns and the dude who just got inducted into the Hall of Fame and told a whole bunch of people to suck his dick. YouTube's not going to like that, but hey, I don't write this stuff. Paul Heyman said it, so it is what it is. Bloodline rules tomorrow. So, given that we talked about Sami Zayn, night 2 looking really predictable. It's looking really predictable that if you are writing the stories the way you are writing these stories, is that I think we'll talk about it more on the prediction show. But I think all of my predictions, except for the one that I just threw because of a reason we'll talk about, is I think my night 2 is pretty solid. So let's see. So let's do the math on it real quick since we here for all of this, right? So back to match graphic. Yeah, we can do that. We can do back to match graphic. Now, batter. Mami. 1 point. I give myself 40,000 bonus points because I called it exactly. So in real life, so that's 2-3 because that's a win for both the Awesome Truth and for A-Town Down Under. Nancy Kerrigan. I don't get a point for this. I'm like, I would try to find a way to explain why I would give myself a point here, but I'm like, I want to give myself a -5. Because I really wanted the Andrade heel turn because it seemed so simple. Because all of that crazy stuff he was doing over there in the AEW, that place, I don't know if we're allowed to talk about, but we will when asked to do something. But I literally got to wonder, because this was in my notes for my predictions and stuff, about what's going to happen with Dom, and is he going to side with LDF? Is the Judgment Day still going to be a thing on Monday? I don't know, but we'll see. So no points scored here. Yeet. I get the point. Even though I'm missing a couple of zeros on how good Jade looked, I still give myself the point for this. I feel it in my heart and in my soul that I find out one of my favorite wrestlers is weak to a child's tears, a Canadian white woman, Chad Gable, who should have turned heel, and Kevin Owens, who's fighting the YouTuber. That hurts me deep inside. That hurts me deep inside. So, whatever. No points scored here. And, of course, it was going to be Bloodline rules because, again, let's put this in this way because I probably should have said this. Again, you need to sit up here and you need to stack the deck against Cody. Because, see, you know what? No, bring it back to me. Because, no, y'all gonna hear me say this. Y'all gonna hear me say this. Had I had been putting in the work on the Savage era last year, I would have reviewed WrestleMania 39 and I would have told you the following. I'd have been looking at that. Cody should have won, and that just should have just been it. But because, again, we were in an era that was fascinated with long penises and numbers and a dude with a do-rag who thinks he has an N-word pass, things were booked that way. Here is the real issue here, and we're going to discuss it really quick because I'm glad I didn't try to shorten this to a damn minute. Let's see. Words. Oh, okay. Cody shouldn't have won the Royal Rumble if this was your plan. Everything that I predicted happened from that point. Is that I kind of figured that the Rock and Roman thing was a distraction and I didn't think it was going to happen because it was really more of that stacking the deck against Cody because you really got to make us feel it to make Cody earn it because he's going to be the face of your company once he beats Roman because that's your plan. Because Roman's finna go home and go sick for a long time and literally gonna start wrestling one match a year like the dude he beat, who he probably shouldn't have beat either in The Undertaker. Shout out to The Undertaker. So it is what it is with that. So again, Drew won the Elimination Chamber like I thought he was. So it's gonna be interesting to literally see that with, again, we get into predictions, but I'll just put it here. If the man took a loss, man, Seth might be going home to go raise his kid for a while. You know what I'm saying? He literally been carrying the company on his back for like 80 million years because Roman just like, yo, I don't feel like it. I'm that dude. I ain't got to wrestle. I just wrestle one time a month at the PLE, stack him and stuff because he did that one year. We probably should have had the Savage era then, but still, point being, wrestling crazy. And that's why I love it. And I'm glad to be back doing the Savage era, even whether in short bursts or this long thing, which I did not expect to be almost 30 minutes long. I'm like, I planned for this to be a 5-minute thing, but give me all the time in the world to talk about pro wrestling, and your boy will talk about some pro wrestling. So, I hope y'all like the new setup. You know what I'm saying? I'll explain that at some point in the near future, but I'm going to go ahead and get this up because night 2 will be starting in a minute, so I quickly got to get y'all those young predictions, and I'm trying to figure out whether I can do that in a minute or not. So we'll try to figure that out. But sit back, relax, stay tuned, subscribe, bells, stuff in the notes, man. I ain't forgot how to do this, but I'm not going to hold y'all anymore. I'm like, you get beat broad over the head about what you're supposed to do and the things you're supposed to support. I won't be that guy because you know better. So we've got plenty of more show for all of you right after these commercial messages. Oh no. Yeah, I've been having some breathing issues. Like trying to get it like right here, get the evil laugh right there, just get caught up. But yeah, more show for all of y'all right after these commercial messages.